Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. Today we're making chicken Florentine meatballs because I love that ground chicken. I just don't know what it is about that stuff, but it's just awesome. So I have to keep trying different things with it. So this one, I had read a recipe for making these spinach meatballs, and you use breadcrumbs and spinach and you make this meatball, which that'll be a podcast someday. But anyway, I actually had them somewhere, and I asked my aunt's friend for the recipe, and the recipe she gave me makes like 800 spinach meatballs, and I'm like, well,
Well, what do you expect?
cut this down.
Got a big family.
Yeah, this recipe does not make 800 meatballs. This is a good thing you could use these as an appetizer. You could use them as the main course of your meal. You could use them with a side of pasta, whatever you want. Here's what you need. You need olive oil. You'll need a half a cup of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, 1 large egg beaten, 1 pound of ground chicken, 1 package of frozen chopped spinach, thawed and drained, and that would be about a 12-ounce package. 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1 tablespoon of dried minced onion, 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella, a half teaspoon of dried basil, a half teaspoon of sea salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. And then you'll need additional mozzarella cheese for sprinkling on top, and you will need some prepared pasta sauce. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and drizzle about a teaspoon of olive oil in a 9x13 glass baking dish and spread that around evenly. Now to the spinach. You want to thaw your spinach and you want to squeeze any excess liquid from the spinach. This is the fun part of the recipe where you get to take out your pent-up aggressions on some poor, innocent, frozen, thawed, wet spinach. Just squeeze that stuff. Squeeze it until no more moisture comes out. Do your best. Do your very best. Now, put all of the ingredients into a large bowl. You want to take that spinach and kind of break it up a little bit. Break up your ground chicken. You can use a fork to do all that. Put all your ingredients in there and then blend them well with your fork. You're going to form these into 1-inch balls, and they're a little tricky because adding the spinach, you can squeeze spinach and it sticks together, but when you mix it with other stuff, then it fights you. So what you want to do is squeeze the mixture together and then roll it in your hands until it sticks together well. So by doing that, you can make a nice, reasonably uniform shaped ball, and it'll hold together really well. Set this in your prepared baking dish and bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. You should get about 15 meatballs out of this. Sometimes I get 14, but it's usually pretty close. So I would say 14 to 15 meatballs out of this. You want to put the dish in the oven and bake for 25 to 30 minutes. And then what you want to do is very carefully take your hot dish out of the oven, and you want to put about 2 tablespoons of your prepared sauce on top of each meatball, and then top that with a little bit of your mozzarella cheese. Put it back into the oven for about 10 more minutes till your cheese melts, and then have at it. This is so good with just like some garlic bread and a little salad. We've had that for supper like that. We've had it with a side of spaghetti. I think these would make like really great hors d'oeuvres because they're really tasty. And I was thinking after the last time I made these, my husband said, I wonder if you could make these with ground beef. And I said, I think you could make these with ground beef. I think if you didn't like ground chicken, I think they would work very nice with ground beef. So that would be your substitution. Just substitute the pound of ground beef instead of chicken. Voila, you've got something that's pretty good. You're getting your spinach, if you want to try to get your greens in. They sound a little bit fancy too. As you can say, chicken Florentine meatballs, which basically means you took some chicken and put spinach on it and some cheese. That's all Florentine means, basically. So,
I have a question. Has the March podcast lineup been sponsored by spinach?
It will be. It could be.
Because between spanakopita last time and chicken Florentine this time, I'm worried that if we do another spinach recipe, Popeye is going to burst through the door of our recording studio.
I've probably got 10 more good spinach recipes. If I can get that recipe narrowed down from Aunt Teresa's friend to a reasonable amount of spinach meatballs, I'll throw that into the mix. You just watch me. That's a meatless one too, so there you go.
Meatless meatballs?
Yeah, they're meatless spinach meatballs. They were really good.
Well, that's just spinach balls.
That's what they are. Doggone it, they're spinach balls.
So this is Mary Mac Bakehouse, sponsored by the concept of spinach.
Sponsored by Squeezing Spinach. These are all squeeze the water out of your spinach recipes too.
Mm-hmm.
These are not fresh spinach recipes. Squeeze the water out of your spinach recipes. These are good, but I don't think they'd be good as a side to the spanakopita. I think
That's
they're
too much
standalone.
spinach in one meal.
Too much.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Is it related to Florence, Italy, or is it?
Here's what I read. Basically, when things are Florentine, according to this Italian cookbook writer who I found, she said it just basically means that there's spinach in them. That's it. When you say something is whatever Florentine, it just means that there's spinach in it. It doesn't necessarily come from Florence, but it means there's spinach in it. I would say this is a keeper recipe, and it's really good. I mean, I really like these a lot. So give them a try. If you like spinach, because I really like spinach. If you like spinach and you like interesting flavors, this is good. This is a good recipe for you, and give it a try because it is very good.
And make sure to check us out online on social media at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on our website, marymacbakehouse.com. And as always, if you'd like a written version of this recipe, go to marymacbakehouse.com and click the recipes button for written out versions of all the podcast recipes that we've done.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you.